a typical example, let's look at it. A learning outcome would be students know the effect that salt has on the boiling point of water, and they're able to solve problems to figure out the exact temperature change given a certain mass of salt. So that's a typical, regular college prep chemistry outcome. If you think about that and you unpackage those standards, there's some things that are low level and some things that are high level. So in the traditional flip model, a teacher would build a presentation and they would assign a video, maybe 15 minutes long, where they would say, when you put salt in water, the water boils at a higher temperature and it also freezes at a lower temperature. And we're going to use this equation, colligative property equation, and here's how you do the calculation. Here's some examples. And then when they come into class, they know that stuff already, and all they're going to do in the class time is do a lab on that and practice those problems. So that seems really cool because this teacher's there to help them. It's really great. Mm-hmm. But the problem is all that information that they got in the video, actually can be unpackaged into some things that are good to actually do in the class and some things that are good to do in the video. So a reverse situation would be they come into class the first day and I give them a bunch of materials and I say develop a procedure to see the effect of salt on the boiling point of water. These kids get around, they boil the water, and at the end of the period I say I want you to fill into this Google form your model. Adding salt to water increases the boiling point because, and they show me their data. Okay, so now they've derived on their own without me doing anything this first piece, and then I say figure out a way to calculate exactly how much it goes up, and then they're like scratching their head because they don't know how to do it, and then they walk out of the classroom and I say, by the way, the homework tonight is to watch the lesson associated with this lab, and I say, so here's where you got in the lab today, good job, and here's the equation you need to answer that question I gave you. And then they come into class and do those problems. And the difference is in the second model, the inquiry piece was teased out of the first video and placed in the community environment, which not only allowed them to talk to each other about their procedure, which built community, it also made them feel this urgency to want the equation because they needed to solve it, and if they didn't have that urgency, they weren't going to get the tool, and that's how anything's developed. The only reason, Wright destroyed the box in architecture is because he felt a need to do that, and he developed the tools to do it. If someone came and gave somebody the tools to build new architecture and they didn't feel a need to do it, who cares? And I think that's kind of what we do with kids. We give them tools and expect them to want to use them. So the learning cycle of constructing knowledge, giving knowledge, and applying the knowledge is a pedagogy. And rather than doing the explanation in a second day of class, we consolidate it into a 2-day learning cycle where the explanation happens in the homework space.
Cool.